Hey everyone, my name's Mark Bates. I'm a metabolic health coach, and today's topic is the surprising benefits of elevated cholesterol on keto. Yeah, your doctor might panic at your cholesterol numbers after starting a ketogenic diet. But what if those rising numbers actually signal healing? The concern about rising cholesterol is understandable. For decades, we've been told high cholesterol leads to heart disease. But in the context of a ketogenic diet, this conventional wisdom misses crucial metabolic nuance. When cholesterol rises on keto, it's telling a story about your body that most doctors don't understand. It's not a warning sign, it's often a predictable and temporary response that signals profound metabolic healing. What's really happening in your liver before keto? Before diving into why cholesterol increases on keto, we need to understand what's happening in your liver before you make the switch. Most people starting a ketogenic diet have been consuming carbohydrates as their primary fuel for years or decades. This creates a specific metabolic environment in your liver. Your liver becomes a storage unit for both glucose, as glycogen, and fat, as triglycerides. When you constantly consume more carbohydrates than your body can immediately use, your liver converts the excess to fat. This stored liver fat isn't just sitting there harmlessly. It's metabolically active tissue that contributes to insulin resistance and inflammation. Many people who appear healthy on the outside have what doctors call non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD, on the inside. In this pre-keto state, your body's cholesterol transport system becomes dysfunctional. High insulin levels prevent proper recycling of cholesterol particles back to the liver. The result? Small, dense LDL cholesterol particles remain in circulation longer, becoming oxidized and potentially contributing to arterial plaque. The liver transformation on keto. When you switch to a ketogenic diet, you dramatically reduce carbohydrate intake, typically to under 20 grams daily. This triggers a cascade of metabolic changes. First, your body depletes stored glucose, glycogen, in the liver. This process usually takes just a few days. Next comes the more significant change of it, like cleaning out an overstuffed storage unit. As you remove items, there's temporarily more stuff visible outside the unit. Similarly, as your liver releases stored fat, more lipids, including cholesterol, temporarily circulate in your bloodstream. The science behind keto cholesterol increases. The cholesterol transport system in your body is fascinating and complex. It involves several types of particles that carry cholesterol and triglycerides through your bloodstream. After eating fat, your digestive system packages it into large particles called chylomicrons. These particles are so large that when triglycerides have been around for a while, you can actually see fat floating on the top of a blood sample. Those are the triglycerides packaged in chylomicrons. As chylomicrons deliver triglycerides to body tissues, they shrink and transform into other particles, VLDL, then IDL, and finally LDL. In a high insulin state before keto, this process gets disrupted. LDL particles can't efficiently return to the liver, so they remain in circulation, becoming smaller, denser, and more oxidized. When you enter a ketogenic state, insulin levels drop dramatically. This allows for proper cholesterol recycling back to the liver. But here's the key. During the transition period, your liver is processing years of stored fat. This temporarily increases the number of cholesterol particles in circulation. The lean mass hyperresponder phenomenon. Not everyone experiences the same cholesterol response on keto. Some people, particularly those who are lean and athletic, see dramatic increases in LDL cholesterol. Researchers have identified a pattern called the lean mass hyperresponder (LMHR) phenotype. These individuals typically have low body fat percentage, significantly elevated LDL cholesterol, sometimes doubling or tripling what most people consider normal, very high LDL, which people call the good cholesterol, but it's just a good form of cholesterol, very low triglycerides, which is good. This pattern puzzled researchers until the development of the lipid energy model. This model suggests that lean, active people on low-carb diets rely heavily on fat metabolism, which drives up both LDL and HDL while keeping triglycerides low. Rather than indicating increased cardiovascular risk, this profile may simply reflect a body efficiently using fat as its primary fuel source. Okay, you may not be a lean mass hyperresponder yet, but once you get lean, this pattern will apply to you as well. What research has shown about keto, cholesterol, and mortality. The conventional wisdom that high LDL cholesterol automatically increases heart disease risk is being challenged by emerging research on ketogenic diets. A remarkable 2024 study called the Keto Trial found that individuals with extremely high LDL cholesterol levels, averaging 272 milligrams a deciliter, that's high, after following, at least your doctor would think that's high, after following a keto diet for nearly 5 years, showed no greater plaque buildup in their arteries compared to matched controls with much lower cholesterol. This challenges the conventional wisdom about the dangers of elevated LDL in the context of a low-carb, high-fat diet. Other research suggests that on a ketogenic diet, the body produces more large, buoyant LDL particles, which are good, which are considered less atherogenic, less likely to cause arterial plaque than the small, dense LDL particles common in high-carb diets. The context matters tremendously. LDL cholesterol in the setting of high insulin, high blood sugar, and high triglycerides poses different risks than LDL cholesterol in the setting of low insulin, normal blood sugar, and low triglycerides. Okay, real quick, if you could please like, subscribe, and if you want to get notified, hit the bell icon. It does help the channel a great deal, and I would be very appreciative. Thank you so much. How to interpret your cholesterol test on keto. Okay, first thing, don't self-diagnose. Do these with your doctor. Make sure that you're working through with your medical professional. If you've been on a ketogenic diet for less than 6 to 12 months and see elevated cholesterol, remember that you're likely in a transition phase. Okay? Rather than focusing solely on LDL cholesterol, consider these more telling markers. Triglycerides should decrease significantly on keto. Levels below 100 milligram a deciliter are normally considered ideal. HDL cholesterol, these should increase on keto. Higher levels are associated with lower cardiovascular risk. Triglyceride to HDL ratio, one of the most predictive markers of heart disease risk. A ratio below 2 is excellent. Below 1 is optimal. This is also one of the ratios we look at in having you being diagnosed for having metabolic disease. Fasting insulin should decrease significantly on keto. High insulin levels drive arterial inflammation regardless of cholesterol levels. You're going to need at least 2 tests, if not 3, over a period of time to check this, because fasting insulin is a one-off test that occurs right then and there with where you're at. Okay? HbA1c, a measure of blood sugar over time, should improve on keto. Okay? And once again, this is one of those markers for metabolic disease. If your HbA1c is at 6.1 or higher, you're considered to be in metabolic distress. If your LDL is elevated, but these other markers are optimal, the research suggests you may not have any cause for concern. When to be concerned about cholesterol on keto. While rising cholesterol on keto is often benign, there are situations that warrant attention. 1. If your triglycerides remain high, over 150 milligrams a deciliter after 3 or more months on keto, something is still throwing a lot of fat in your bloodstream. If your HDL remains low, under 40 milligrams a deciliter for men and under 50 milligrams a deciliter for women, this is a metabolic condition that you need to be aware of. If you have a family history of familial hypercholesterolemia, a genetic condition that gives you a lot of additional cholesterol. But one side note on that. If you're over 50, it may not be a concern. Talk with your doctor about that, because what they found is that even though hypercholesterolemia for younger people seems to have a risk for heart attacks, once you get above 50, it actually works in reverse, and the studies show that the mortality rate goes down. So keep that one in context. If you notice other concerning health symptoms alongside cholesterol changes, in these cases, working with a healthcare provider knowledgeable about ketogenic diets is crucial. Your average doctor who does not know what a ketogenic diet does to your body may misinterpret these results. So do look for somebody who knows something about ketogenic diets. The bigger picture. Understanding cholesterol on keto requires looking beyond simplistic high cholesterol is bad thinking. The biochemistry is nuanced and context dependent. For most people, the temporary increase in cholesterol during keto adaptation reflects a healing process as the liver empties years of stored fat. The improvements in insulin sensitivity, inflammation markers, and overall metabolic health often outweigh concerns about temporarily elevated LDL. As your body becomes fully fat adapted over months, many people find their cholesterol levels normalize or settle into a new pattern with optimal ratios, even if absolute numbers differ from conventional standards. The key is patience. Don't abandon a ketogenic diet that's improving your overall health based solely on a cholesterol test taken during the adaptation phase. Your body is likely telling a success story that standard medical testing isn't designed to interpret correctly. But beyond the numbers, cholesterol is just one piece of a complex metabolic puzzle. Rather than fixating on a single number, focus on a comprehensive health markers and how you feel, much more holistic approach. Are your energy levels stable? Is your mental clarity improved? Are chronic health conditions resolving? Has your blood pressure normalized? Are you maintaining a healthy weight? These real-world outcomes often matter more than a cholesterol number on a lab report. The ketogenic diet isn't about manipulating macronutrients. It's about creating a metabolic environment where your body can heal years of damage from poor dietary choices. Rising cholesterol during this process isn't a roadblock. It's often a signpost that you're moving in the right direction. All right? So, once again, thank you for watching. If you have questions or comments, please put them in the appropriate section on YouTube. I will answer all questions. And if you have any ideas for videos that you would like in the future, leave them. I will try to get to them as soon as I can. Thank you so much.